Now what's up, it's Amanda and I'm back with another video. So today's video is going to be reading new releases. I'm going to be vlogging me reading a couple new releases. I only have two here to show you. These are 2024 releases that I was highly looking forward to. So the first one that I'm going to be reading is Hera by Jennifer Saint. This one actually came out last month in August. And as you can see, I have a bookmark in it already, but we'll get to that in a second. And the second book is Diavola by Jennifer Thorne. Two Jennifers. I didn't plan that. But yeah, I'm very excited to get into this vlog and share with you guys my thoughts on these books. So let's get right on into the video. Okay, first off, I have my door open and the laundry is going off in the background, so if you can hear that, I'm so sorry. But I wanted to do my first check-in because I started Hera. Like I said, I have a bookmark in this. I made it to part 2, which is about 80 pages into the book, and I have my first initial thoughts. So the only thing I really knew about Hera was that she was married to Zeus. She's an immortal goddess. And that's all I really knew. They ruled Mount Olympus together. But this is kind of the backstory of everything that happened at the beginning of the rule of the gods and goddesses. So we kind of get that backstory. We don't see much fighting so far. Like in the Greek myth, there's like the whole fight between the Titans and the gods and goddesses. And basically the very first chapter talks about that a little bit, but then like the actual war that happened, but then it kind of moves on from that and deals with the aftermath of that. So basically this book starts off with Hera and all the other gods and goddesses that teamed up together to fight the Titans. Like there was 7 of them, and I think I remember all of them. There's obviously Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, and then Hera, of course. Then there's Hestia, Aphrodite, and Demeter, I think. I think those are all 7 of the gods and goddesses that teamed up together. But anyways, they kind of form an alliance, and they are the ones ruling Mount Olympus and ruling the world. And so slowly that devolves from there. Zeus starts taking control of things, and he starts becoming like a tyrant kind of, and like becoming a king, and he splits up the land, and it's completely blindsides Hera, because Hera just wants to rule alongside all of her brothers and sisters, but Zeus takes it upon himself to split up the heavens, the sea, and the underworld. So obviously Zeus is the ruler of the heavens and like the land and whatever, and then Poseidon, the ruler of the sea, Hades, the ruler of the underworld. And Hera doesn't like that. She then gets offered the chance to marry Zeus and rule alongside him as his queen. And at first in this story, she says no. And she's like, no, I don't want to marry you. You're my brother. I don't want to marry you. I don't want to share the throne. I want to share the throne in the sense of like she is his shadow and she is the queen in the shadows. Like she wants to be a ruler alongside him as his equal, not as his submissive wife. And so she is on a plot to basically take down Zeus. That's like what we are getting at. And the last line before part 2 starts is, she will be his wife, talking about Hera, the queen of heaven, and she will use every resource she has at her disposal to bring him down. And the him she's talking about is obviously Zeus. So this is very interesting so far. I've read 2 of Jennifer Saint's other books. I've read Electra and Atalanta, and those were 4 stars, like really great Greek myth retellings. So I'm excited to get to read Hera. The only book besides this one that I have not read from Jennifer Saint is actually her debut, which is Ariadne. I have it in paperback, but have I read it yet? No. Anyways, I'm very excited for this one. Yeah, so that's the first new release. Like I said, the other one is Diavola. I will update you guys on Diavola once I finish Hera. Hera, unfortunately, is due back at the library on September 10th, which is in 2 days. So I want to try and finish this. I don't know if I can finish it. I'm gonna try and read as much as I can today. I don't have work today. It's Sunday. I'm off. I also am off tomorrow, Monday. I have class from 2 to 5, but other than that, my morning is pretty free. So I'm planning on getting to this in the morning. So I will update y'all when I've read a bigger chunk of the book. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm really liking it so far. There's this element of like a mentor. There's this element of Hera having a mentor in the goddess Gaia, who is like the mother of the earth and stuff like that. And Gaia is not missing, but she is not taking part in any of the god and goddess squabbles that are happening. Gaia is like nowhere to be seen. Nobody knows where she is. So she kind of is missing, but like not in the sense that like they're looking for her. They're not looking for her. They're just like, Gaia's off over there doing whatever she wants to do. But she is kind of like a mentor to Hera. So that part is interesting. I'm excited to see what Hera has planned and like how the rest of the story unfolds. Hello. Hi, Pearl. Ew. Hey y'all, so it has been a while since I updated this vlog. I'm kind of just vlogging over the course of September because I don't have a ton of time to read with grad school and with being full-time at work. But I wanted to update you because I finished Hera by Jennifer Saint. I don't have it with me because I had to return it to the library. That's the only like motivating factor as to why I finished it so quickly. If I could have held on to it longer, I would have, but it had to go back to the library. Anyways, so the last I updated you, I don't remember honestly what I said, but basically this story of Hera follows her throughout her, honestly, it feels like her entire existence. The beginning of Hera's story basically follows Hera and Zeus and all the other gods taking down the Titans, which is like, you know, how the Olympians began their rule. And then it kind of follows Hera's life as she navigates being this goddess with so much power in terms of like the abilities that she has, but not enough political power, if that makes sense. And it's her navigating, trying to gain more political power, and trying to navigate her relationship with other gods and goddesses. And it was interesting. I gave it 4.25 stars. It basically follows up until the very, very end is like basically Mount Olympus is no more. Like all the gods and goddesses have fled Mount Olympus and are now living amongst all the humans. And I thought that was an interesting way to end it. I feel like I've read Electra and Atalanta and now Hera by this author. I haven't read Ariadne, but I feel like this book with Hera kind of brings this like Greek goddess storyline to a close, if that makes sense. Because essentially we follow the beginning of the Olympian rule, and then we follow until the demise of like Zeus and the Mount Olympus, where they were like residing, and basically all the gods and goddesses we're living amongst the humans, so it's like there's not really much of a story to tell, because they kind of like, they live amongst the humans but not as like their goddess form or their god form. It was very interesting. So yeah, it just kind of felt like it was a conclusion to this like series of books about Greek myths. So I don't know what Jennifer Saint is planning on doing next, but I definitely want to read at Ariadne. And also throughout Hera's book, she like makes reference to a lot of other gods and goddesses, as well as other like humans that became very prevalent in the gods and goddesses' lives. So I don't know, maybe Jennifer Saint is going to pick one of those humans to look at, but that is all to say I gave it a 4.25 stars. The next book that I'm going to be reading in this vlog is a book that I have started. This is Diavola by Jennifer Thorne. This book is basically about this family that goes on vacation in Italy, and they rent this manor, I guess. I don't know how to, it's like bigger than a house, but not quite a castle. The main character is like the black sheep of the family, and you're following her as she starts noticing odd things happening throughout the house. Like, for one, our main character at one point like wakes up in the middle of the night because she hears children running around the house, like right outside her door, and they're like talking, saying like, oh, we should wake her, and then like, oh no, we shouldn't wake her, and yada yada. So she just thinks like, oh, it's my two nieces. And then right before she falls asleep, she realizes, no, it can't be my two nieces. The two children outside my door were speaking in Italian, and my nieces don't know Italian. So that wasn't, that was creepy. Also, at one point, her sister, our main character's sister, who is the mother of these two nieces, she was by the pool and she felt two hands shove her into the pool, and she, along the way of like falling, hits her head, and it's like this huge gash, and they're like, oh, should we take you to the emergency room or whatever, or the hospital. And the child who is blamed for pushing the mom into the pool is adamant, like, I was not even near you, I did not do that. And our main character, for some reason, really believes the child over everybody else, who thinks that the child did it, even though nobody saw. So, I don't know. Also, there's this recurring theme of like, there's a tower in the house, and there's like a hidden door that leads up to the tower, and our main character keeps hearing things behind the door. And also, she found one of the people on vacation with them just standing there in front of the door, like staring at the door and not doing anything else, just staring at the door, which was kind of eerie. And then lastly, this is all I'll say before I like get into the actual plot and the vibes, but lastly, our main character is an artist. So she one day like sits by the pool of the house and draws an image, right, of the pool. But then she kind of gets lost in the drawing aspect of like the task or whatever. And when she comes to, in her image that she drew, there are two dead bodies floating in the water. And she's like, I don't remember drawing that. What compelled me to draw that? And I'm just like, oh my God. So the vibes are very eerie, if you couldn't tell. Very eerie, very weird. I'm loving it so far. There's also a little bit of humor to this, which I'm really adoring. So let's see. I am only 50 pages in. The chapters are pretty short too, so I think I can get through this very quickly. There's less than 300 pages in this book. Let me just see real quick. There's 291 pages in this book, so I feel like it's gonna go by very quickly. I'm not listening to the audiobook with this. I am physically reading it because I need a book that I can bring to work. And when I read a book at work, I can't listen to it. So this is the next new release that I will be reading. It's perfect fall spooky vibes. I'm loving it. I might read another book in this vlog, but we'll see. This vlog is already getting a little out of hand just because my check-ins are very sporadic. And yeah, so I don't know. I'll check in with you once I'm halfway through and then once I'm done. So yeah. All right, y'all. So I haven't updated this vlog in quite a bit of time, but I started Diavola by Jennifer Thorne. I don't know if I updated. I think I did update about what this is about. It's like a haunted house story. And basically I'm further in. I am about 50% of the way through, and the family acknowledged in like the last chapter that the house, there's something wrong with the house, and they started speculating like what could it be, and one of them flat out said it's haunted. It wasn't our main character who said those words, it's haunted, but she like backed up the person who said it was haunted. And then it sparked this whole debate on whether they believe in ghosts, and I was like, okay. Basically most of them believe in ghosts, except for the main character has a twin brother, and the twin brother brought his boyfriend, and his boyfriend's name was Christopher. Christopher went on this whole long spiel about how ghosts aren't real. Yeah, he just went on this long spiel about how he doesn't believe in ghosts and neither should you, which I thought was interesting, considering all the weird things happening in this house. But yeah, I have to say that the vibes of this book are very, very spooky. I was reading this at night the other day, and I had to put it down because I was getting a little spooked. And there's like a little thread of humor mixed into all of this. So you get moments where the tension is like not as present because the main character is making some joke or something, or like making light of the situation. And then something will change and like the atmosphere will shift and something creepy happens, and I'm just really, really enjoying this. I'm planning on finishing it this week because it's due back at the library. So hopefully I will be able to come back to you with my final thoughts in the next couple days. I also haven't been doing much outside of just going to work, coming back, doing schoolwork. Like, there's not much going on in my life. So yeah, that's why this vlog is kind of boring. Not much life stuff happening, but we'll see. Hey y'all, it is September 30th. I'm still filming this vlog. But I wanted to update on Diavola by Jennifer Thorne because I finished it, and I have to say it was so good. I really loved this book. I ended up giving it 5 stars, which I was like shook about because I just wasn't going into it like I thought it could be, but I wasn't 100% sure, and then I like loved every single bit of it. I'll just go through a brief little like synopsis of it. Basically, we're following this family, the Pace family. They're a very dysfunctional family, and they all meet up in Italy in this villa to have like an Italian vacation, right? And they're very dysfunctional, but we're following the black sheep of the family, Anna, and she starts realizing that there's something wrong with the house. Basically, it's like a haunted house story, and it goes from there, and it was amazing. It was funny at times, but also like really spooky and eerie, and the atmosphere was amazing. Pearl, how did you get in here? How did you get in here? Oh my goodness, how did you get in here? Anyways, so yeah, the atmosphere was amazing. I absolutely love this. I tried reading it at night a couple times and I just had to stop because it was so spooky. And even when I was reading it during the day, it was very spooky. So yeah, I just really absolutely love this. It's probably one of my top tier like horror books I loved it so much. Now I want to update on the next book that I'm reading. This is the last book that I'm reading for this vlog. This is Every Moment Since by Mary Beth Mayhew Wallen. This is actually an ARC that I received, or this is an advanced listening copy, so an ALC, because I got the audiobook for this. This book, we're following multiple different POVs. Basically, in the 1980s, there was this little kid named Davy who went missing one night. And it was a night that his parents had gone out to a party and he was under the supervision of his older brother, who was like 15 at the time. And Davy was like 11, I want to say. And yeah, he goes missing, and we're following that night, the perspective of Davy that night. And then we're also following the perspective of his brother, his mother, and the police chief, and like all these other perspectives, right, in present day. And it's very interesting. I'm liking the story so far. I don't think that there needed to be so many point of views, to be honest, but I'm liking the story nonetheless. I'm 50% of the way through, so I just got to part 3 and things are happening now. Okay, at first it just kind of set up the story, but now things are happening. So yeah, I'm liking it. I'm thinking it's gonna be like a 3.5. If the ending's like really good, then it could be a 4. But yeah, I'm liking this, and I'll update y'all hopefully later on today if I finish it. I really want to finish it today. We'll see. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself to do that. But yeah, hey y'all. I don't look the greatest right now, but I wanted to wrap up this video because it has been a long time coming. I finished my last book, which was Every Moment Since. I'm forgetting the author, but I will have it up here or up here somewhere on the screen. And this book was very interesting. I don't know if I told you about it. I think I did. But it's basically about like this missing child named Davy who went missing in the 80s. And then it follows his family 20 years later in like the 2000s. Like it was like 2006, I think, that we were following the family. And there's 2 timelines. We're following multiple POVs in the 2006 timeline, and then in the like 1980 something timeline, the night that Davy went missing, we're following various characters throughout the night to piece together how the night went. And so it's interesting. I personally, I saw some of it coming because I think some of it was kind of obvious. Like after 20 years, spoiler alert, they found the body and the child was dead this whole time. So like that I kind of saw coming, but what I didn't see coming was the person who did it, like the whodunit. I did not foresee that at all. It completely blindsided me, so I was kind of gooped and gagged at that reveal. But ultimately, I am giving this like a 3.5, I would say. It was like an interesting time. I really enjoyed reading it, but on reflection, I just feel like we didn't get to know the characters that well. Like you're kind of rooting for this one like romance, but then at the same time, like I didn't really care enough about the characters to root for them, you know what I mean? Like there were all these different like familial dynamics, which I normally love, and like I thought that was very well done, the different dynamics that come into play. But I ultimately just feel like we were a bit detached from the characters. Like I didn't get to know them as well as I wanted to. I think this book would have benefited from a little more fleshed out, like what's the word, narrative, storytelling, I don't know. But yeah, so that is my final thoughts on that. 3.5, which is not a bad rating. And I want to thank NetGalley and Harper Muse for allowing me to listen to this advanced listening copy. I think Pearl is on the other side of the door. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's been like a month coming, but we're just gonna ignore that and just pretend that this all happened very quickly and not throughout the entire month of September. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, if you don't know what to say, comment a clothing emoji, like any kind of clothing, maybe like a dress or a jacket or a shirt, anything, because in the book Every Moment Since, they found a piece of clothing in the beginning of the book which spurred this whole narrative. Okay, so yeah, I always have my social medias linked in the description down below. I have Instagram, Threads, TikTok, the Storygraph, and Goodreads, so follow me or friend me on any of those. And don't forget to like, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye. Hi, girl. You see her little head?